Welcome. On today's episode we're going to be ghillie crafting. As you can see, I'm using my KMCS and that's my Viper tactical chest rig. I'm using halo screen and loads of fake leaves and all that there jazz. But anyway, on today's episode we're going to be doing something that's not being shown right now. This is just kind of like a cinematic start. I hope you like it, I hope you appreciate it. Anyway, my brown KMCS is pretty much finished. I'll probably add more green as the season goes on, but at the minute I'm pretty happy with it. In Northern Ireland, where I play most, the seasons change dramatically between summer and winter, so I'm a big believer of just using green natural veg, because at the end of the season you've got less crafting to prepare for the winter. On this week's episode we need to change these goggles into something more like this. These new set of goggles are going to be for Evo Athena's green KMCS, so we'll try and create something that matches in with that. Although it doesn't matter too much, I'm going to start with doing a little bit of spraying. This is mainly for the mesh at the front of the lens. I'm doing a real simple spray, just one colour. I'm using jute cord to do a few wraps just to give that kind of tiger stripe look, and that's all I'm going to do, just to add a little something. I'll leave painting for another video. At the minute I just want to concentrate on the crafting. So after a quick dusting of matte khaki colour, the goggles are ready to craft. So to start out, I'm using some mesh. I'm going to stick these onto the goggles, and the reason I'm doing this is just to give me a bigger surface area to stick leaves onto. So what I'm going to do is mark up the eye holes and snip them out. The pen that I'm using for this is just an ordinary white paint pen. At this point I should tell you the colour of the scrim or the mesh doesn't really matter. Just use anything you can, because at the end of the day the majority of it's going to be covered by leaves. Start off by making a small incision, and this should allow you to fit the scissors through. It can be a wee bit fiddly, so just watch your fingers. Once you have the eye holes cut, just cut away all the excess bit of scrim. You only need a couple inches around the edges. Of course, get your glue of choice. I use shoe glue, and I've started using Fantastic Elastic just because it's easier to get hold of. It has a different consistency and can be quite awkward to work with, but it seems to stick really well. It's also way cheaper as well. So that's it, pretty much done. The only thing I'll do here is snip off the border of the mesh, as I don't want this thing to be heavier than what it needs to be. So let's start by attaching some leaves. I'd love to tell you that it's some scientific way of doing it, but really, I just stick the things down. I try to do it actually really messily. I try to cause as many wrinkles to get that 3D look. Here I'm just using some of the wastage from the eye holes of the mesh. This is a cheap way of bulking out your depth. I'll speed this next bit up because it's very repetitive. I'm basically just cutting up the leaves, and again I'm trying to get it very messy, avoiding straight lines, and also just trying to keep the leaves off the actual mesh. I don't want any of the vision to be blocked. I made the mistake of crafting goggles once with the points of the leaves hanging down over my eyes, and it was really frustrating, so I'm very mindful this time round. So basically, cut, glue and repeat. I'll just slow down the time lapse at this bit. I tend to use bigger leaves on the bottom. One, if I use bigger leaves at the top, they may hang down over my vision, which I've mentioned is really annoying. And two, it kinda looks cool. It's important to use the same size of leaves as you do in your suit. This will help with keeping a consistent look. At this bit, I'm sticking leaves behind and in front, again adding depth. Having multiple layers of leaves allows me to create a platform for sticking the raffia. Normally I just cable tie it or tie it onto my suit, But for this, what I do is fold it in half, pinch it, add a bit of glue, and use the other leaves on the goggles to seal it. You can use green raffia as well as the brown. However, for this, what I've done is I'm taking a sample of artificial grass. It has that lovely realistic vibrancy that you need with grass, so it'll tie in well with the green KMCS. I'm peeling off the strands and I'm applying it the same way as the raffia. Luckily, the artificial grass is already woven together, so it comes off relatively easily in clumps. This is what we've got so far, and as you can see, the depth and the texture is building up nicely. But we need more green. Next up, I'll use some halo screen. The halo screen glues on nice and easily. However, it is a mesh, so bear in mind that the glue will come onto your fingers as you press down, so you may want to wear gloves. I put on a couple of small pieces, but I'll also need large patches of the green to blend in with the suit. Depending on what way the halo screen is cut, you may get some edging, but this will unravel easily. Just unroll it with your fingertips. It's pretty expensive, so you don't want any of it going to waste. I'm using the halo screen the same way I use it on my suits, cutting off 2 different colours and blending them together. The halo screen packs come with at least 4 colours, so pick and choose whatever you want. You can't really see here, but I'm sticking the halo screen onto the mesh that we cut out and stuck on the goggles earlier. It gives a lovely big real estate to be able to stick all these crafting materials on. And this is how we're looking so far. Still a wee bit of work to go, but it's already taken shape. It's at this point I grab the green balaclava, just to see how the goggles are looking. It's the same as taking your ghillie suit into the forest just to check that it's okay. It's looking good, it's got texture, but I think we just need a little bit more green. For this bit, I'll just leave the balaclava out, so I can keep an eye on my reference. I think we're in the home stretch. Just to help it blend a little bit more, I'm using the KMCS Green crafting leaves. I don't need too many of these, I just need to add a few accents. I could have just got the goggles and surrounded them in the green KMCS leaves. However, by adding them at the end, we have that excellent depth that we're looking for. Plus, it's my opinion, they look a lot cooler this way. Definitely, simple is sometimes better. However, I want these goggles to look cool. They are going to be worn by Evo Athena after all. Before I wrap up here, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have liked my material, please subscribe, hit that like button, and also hit the notifications bell. It'll update you on my future crafting videos. And check out my other previous videos as well. At the minute with coronavirus lockdown, I'm not getting out airsofting at all. However, I'm still putting out content. You can also get me daily on Instagram. Feel free to send me a message at any time. So that's the final product. As mentioned before, I may do some paint to the lenses, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with them.